Welcome to a new season of the Hollywood Makers. I'm Rosie Gigure.
I am Claudia Cano, your host for Hollywood Makers for the third season. We're starting now our fourth season, and I am so happy that Rosie's here to join us because this season we are doing a shift on what we want to focus on the show. So Rosie, tell us about this new shift that you as the leader of Dale Cuéntame Network want to focus on.
And it's because of you, really, Claudita. I want people to know that producers like you, successful producers, directors, and writers, and executives, and people working behind camera and at all levels, that we focus on supporting them, on for them to discuss their journey, obstacles, and so we inspire our audience. That's for me the main thing with the Hollywood Makers. But again, Claudita is the lead here. So I wanna start, for example, Claudita, with the Emmys that we were released the nominations a while ago. We know that there is, for example, one Latina that for the first time. Tell us about that, Claudita, because that's what we really wanna focus on.
So like Rosa was saying, we want to give voices to the women that in this industry tend to not be heard as loud as other voices. So that's what this season wants to focus on. Continue to give resources to the listeners about the stuff that's happening in Hollywood. But in this case, the Emmys came out just recently, and we were very happy to hear that one of our own, Selena Gomez, got her first Emmy nomination for her show, Only Murders in the Building, which is an amazing show, and it got 21 nominations this year, only surpassed by two other shows, which is Shogun. I have not seen that one, so I have that one pending. But I do recommend that everybody, if you haven't seen The Bear, that received the most nominations of all shows. It's supposed to be a comedy, which I still don't understand how it's categorized as a comedy because there's so much drama in that show. But that one is also an amazing show that has a lot of female cast and guests that have been amazing, including Jamie Lee Curtis, who does an amazing job in that show as a guest. So we recommend that you go watch it, and we support Selena Gomez on her first Emmy nomination, and we were going to be watching the Emmys, obviously throwing all the good energy and vibes her way. But yeah, the Emmys just announced just a few weeks ago, and there was a lot of surprises and snubs, but we just wanted to focus today on congratulating Selena Gomez.
Yes, and we're going to be talking maybe in the future in Claudita's segments on that. We're going to speak now. What are the segments of the Hollywood Makers, Claudita? Can you, if someone is listening to the Hollywood Makers podcast for the first time, can you tell how we divide our segments?
Of course. So if you're listening for the first time, welcome. If you're a long-time listener, welcome back. But if you are listening to us for a while, you'll realize that we have basically three different segments that we like to kind of showcase information to you guys. One is with insightful interviews. So we bring people in the industry that are making it. They are the Hollywood Makers. And we talk to them to get information about what's happening in the industry that could affect everyone, or, good resources of people like lawyers and producers that can give you insight on the pitfalls and learning lessons and all that stuff. And then we also have our news, which is the segment where we tell you everything that's happening, like we were just doing with the Emmys. And there are segments where we talk about what's happening around the industry on TV and film and media in general. And then we have the Wants to Watch, one of our favorite segments, because we let you know what's happening in the industry, what's coming up that you definitely need to pay attention to. And it's a different segment because it's not just the trailer that we talk about things that you might not know that are happening. So interesting facts and a little bit of tidbit of information about those particular releases. So that's the Ones to Watch.
And that segment now is a weighted segment because people like to see, and since this podcast is also publishing in YouTube, you can see the videos. By the way, this podcast started at the end of 2019. But when Claudita started with the third season, I think we made the introduction of her career, and Claudita has been interviewing Hollywood stars, A-list stars, and for all these movies and working in Hollywood for a long time. So what you see, the quality that you see in those segments, in all the videos, by the way, that we published with Claudita in YouTube, you can see where that's coming from, and it's called experience. Claudita, you were talking also the other segment, obviously the insightful new interviews that we have with different people, and we're going to try to focus on women. But again, because we love Alice, we're always going to have other people. But speaking about the news segment, industry news, what can you tell us about the recent layoffs, Claudita?
So it's unfortunate, just like in the news, there's bad stuff happening. The industry is changing. Like, the only person that would know that is if you were living under a rock. But we all know that the industry is changing with everything that's going on with AI and all the contracts and all the negotiations that are happening. And so the industry in general is shifting. And unfortunately, that means a lot of layoffs. Paramount just announced that they're going to have a 15% of their workforce laid off by the end of the year, which is always sad because it always happens when you need the money the most that people are let go of their jobs towards the end of the year, which is really sad. And there's been also announcements in National Geographic. A lot of networks and TV shows have been announcing layoffs. So it's really sad because we know that the shift affects people, but we also know that there's a silver lining. And the silver lining in this case, I'm going to shift to tell you that there's good news in regards to new productions coming up. So hopefully those people that are getting laid off get to transition into other things that are happening in the industry that are changing the way that we are watching TV and film. One of those things that's just happened is Deadpool and Wolverine. The movie just crossed $1 billion in the box office. And it's interesting because it's the first R-rated movie that's done that. Actually, is the second one, but it's going to surpass Joker in just this weekend coming up, hopefully. Joker was the number one R-rated movie. Now, Deadpool and Wolverine will be surpassing them. So that's a good thing because that means that people are actually going to the movies. And it has to do also with the talent. Obviously, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are people that people love. We love to love them. And they are, especially Ryan Reynolds, he is an entertainment marketing guru. Like, he knows how to market himself, and he's been doing an amazing job with publicity and stunts and, promoting the movie across the board. So that's, it tells you what promotion does for a movie. And then also within that, we know that people are going to the movies. So we do need to continue making movies the way we used to make them because people do want to have that experience. And then in the sense for women, I am happy to let you guys know in the news that Prime Video has greenlit an original series based on one of my favorite books of all time, of one of my favorite writers, the Chilena Isabel Allende. She created this book called La Casa de los Espíritus, which was translated in English to The House of the Spirits. And now it's going to be a series, an 8-episode series that's going to premiere in Prime. And I'm very excited because most of the cast is going to be Hispanic, but it also has a lot of Latina women in very powerful roles. Because the original time that they did this movie was back in 1993, and that was done with a stellar cast, but only one Latino. So based on the fact that this is a story that spans generations in Chile, it's nice to know that we're going to get to see the idiosyncrasies of our culture there with a Latino cast. But back in the day, it was an amazing cast. It was Meryl Streep, Jeremy Irons, Glenn Close, Winona Ryder, and Antonio Banderas. And I think Maria Conchita Alonso also had like a small role in it. But so now to see this come to fruition with actors like Alfonso Herrera, if people are of Hispanic descent, you might know him from RBD, Rebelde. He was also in Ozark, the TV show. And then we're going to have Fernanda Castillo, who used to be in the novela Señor de los Cielos, and she's amazing. She's a really good actress. And then I think there's Juan Pablo Raba from Narcos. So if you've seen Narcos and you know Juan Pablo, he's amazing too. So it's good to see that there's new productions coming in with Latino cast, with women on board, which is going to be also, not only is it written by Isabel Allende from her book, but it's also going to be executive produced by her and Eva Longoria.
Yeah,
Yes.
Eva Longoria. And now, and going back, this is so exciting as you, we are very excited. Hopefully you are too. Moviegoers, you also were saying that, yeah, in spite of everything, the layoff in everything, there are still people like you who love movies. And as soon as a movie comes out, you're there with your family. And that's one of the things that I talk with the Doctora Ana Cristina Ramon from UCLA, and we're gonna have that episode next, because we were talking about how us Latinos and even African Americans, I remember, go to the movies more, and so the movies that need to be made are for those audiences, right? So at least now, I think we're seeing some change. This podcast is not just about bringing you news and beautiful things that are happening, but because I know the audience are creatives and are people working in the media and entertainment industry, we want to support you guys with information and letting you know that yes, it can be done. And not only that, but as I posted, I think today in LinkedIn, when I was posting about the layoff, one of the things that we do here also internally in the company is that we support, we consulting to people who don't know what to do or are thinking or are panicking because these layoffs are happening. I do think that, again, this is really a great opportunity for all of us to continue innovating, obviously, not just with AI, but new technologies, and do new things. So, yes, this is what Claudita does every other week. You're going to have her every other week, and with great guests and with great content.
Yes, thank you. And I hope that this new season also brings you guys more resources. We hope that the first season was able to give you, even if it's just one episode that touched you and gave you some new information that you didn't have access to, or access to somebody that could provide you that information. So we hope that we continue to do that, even if it's a small scale, large scale, whatever we can do to help out the audience. You know, that's what we're here for. And I'm looking forward to listening to Rosie's interview of Doctora Ana Cristina Ramon.
Claudita was on vacation, by the way, so I did the interview with Dr. Ana Cristina Ramon, and it's really great information. Claudita, there's a team, and obviously, since season 3, we started at the end of the 2019. Then Claudita came last year, and this is her show, and she's doing great, bringing you great interviews, but mostly you'll notice her passion about each production, every selection of content that she does. It's great. So really, come with us, guys, because this podcast, The Hollywood Makers, is for you because you are a Hollywood maker.
Yes. So we are excited to have you here for our new season. Like Rosie said, I am passionate about the industry. I don't know if you can tell, but I am. And I will be happy to have you join us in this new year of new episodes. And also just remember that you have a voice. So if you have information that you would like to learn about or know more about, or ideas, you know, we're an open situation here. It's an open door policy where you can bring us your ideas and your questions, and we'll be happy to help you.
So remember, this is the show where we are, especially this season, 4th season of the Hollywood Makers, we're supporting women who we know, because we are 2 producers here. We have overcome obstacles, and we just want to share our experiences. And the guests that we bring here to the show are especially people like the one, the recent episode. It's Lynn Tam, and Lynn is the owner of an animation production company who's working with AI. So you can listen to that episode, a great interview that Claudita did. And we're going to bring you more of that content. And now I think I'm going to leave Claudita to say goodbye, because if you know me, I talk too much.
But yes, so thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Rosie, for doing this kickoff of our 4th season, my 2nd season with the Hollywood Makers. We're very excited for what's to come. Like we said, we want you to subscribe and become a member of this community because we're here for you, the community of those people who are trying to and who are making it in Hollywood, the Hollywood makers. Thank you, everyone.